I know with everything that everybody is having to deal with on a daily basis concerning where we're at as a planet, it's not easy, but don't worry. You know why? Because Vanguard invasion is here. And I want to get back to the thing that I talked about, and let's make mention in the beginning of this. This is part 4 of the god Dionysos. I got interrupted at the last second on the third part, but I'm back for this one. So I want to go back to Mark 9:35. And it says, "And he sat down and called the 12, and saith unto them, If any man desire to be first," if they want to be first, "the same be last of all and servant of all." And it's not easy to be a servant. I wanted to reiterate back to what we were saying earlier. Are you really willing to give up everything of your whole life, whether you get paid or not, to really serve the people in every way that you can from within inside, no matter who they are, rich or poor, inconsiderate of any situations? Can you continue when you get fire thrown at you, continue to show back love? So how do you fight fire? It's not with fire. It's with water. You fight fire with water. Ask any person that works for the fire department. So in order to be first, you must be last of all and servant of all. But not only that, you must be able to bring forth things such as I'm even teaching you at this point with a new type of religion, utilizing a Bible that has been the bestseller of all time, that is incompatible, to where all you got to do is look on your iPod on the Blue Letter Bible application, and you could actually see that everything that I say concerning the Phallus is 100% true. How does John or the Beatles do that? 666? Did I do it right? It is absolutely true. So everything that I say is true. But not only that, a person to be able to bring this type of teaching, if they're going to take over the world, they also got to be able to know lots of things concerning from the bottom to the top of a corporation. Am I not correct? I've been a business person since 1977. And one thing that I do know about business is if you don't know how to do business, we ain't doing business. And way back when I was young, I could remember I used to work with my uncle picking chili at the farms. Even concerning the Bible, I've been preaching since 1977. We're going on 35 years almost, 34 years that I'm at this place to where this is all that I've actually loved to do. My self-employment started in 1979, and what did I do back then? I had a newspaper route, a lawn business, a snow removal thing going on, and odd jobs, and I also had some of the kids of the community working with me. So that way I could hire them out and we could all make money. After high school, I went to Spartan, which is a school of aeronautics in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and after that, I landed up working for McDonnell Douglas up until 1996, and worked with the Mars project that actually sent up the Pathfinder that landed on, I believe it was July 4th of 1997, if I'm not mistaken, and that Delta rocket was made out of Pueblo, Colorado, which is my hometown, but I'm actually from Salt Creek, a little small suburb of Pueblo. What else did I do? I pastored churches in Pueblo and Denver between 1991 to 2005. We used to own a private school and a daycare, so I taught kindergarten through 12th grade, many different subjects in between. I worked with television, with radio. I was the founder of the Fellowship of Christian Business People Association there in Pueblo as well. I also did subcontracting just in the last several years. The business that I had, we had over 100 employees. We did everything from top to bottom, inside and out. Front to back, it didn't matter what it was that you needed. We were flipping houses for people, doing commercial stuff with other general contractors. There were people just asking what they could do to get a job, and I would make up jobs just so that way they could have a way to make a living. This one mother came and asked me, can you give my son a job? I said, what can he do? He says, I don't know. And so I opened up a detail business so he could start detailing cars. And, he did pretty well. You do a couple of those a day, you're making $70. And in Pueblo, back then, it wasn't that bad considering the economics even at that point. I had over 35 businesses going over at the same time. The income that I had per month would sometimes take 2 people in the city of Pueblo to actually make, working full-time per year, to have as a combined income for the whole year, 2 people. And I make that in 1 month, every single month. You know, at the end of my thing, before my divorce, I was driving a new Mercedes, living in a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom, 4-living room home in Highlands Ranch, drug addicted, alcoholic, sex offender. You know, as I think of all these sins, there's 390 sins that are actually recorded in the Dake's Bible that man has done from Genesis to Revelation. So if there's 390 sins that are actually recorded, it's sad to feel that you've finally done them all. And one thing that I do know is that I am guilty of every single one of them. That's why 2 Thessalonians calls me the man of sin, the son of perdition. I have to have all this sin in order to know what you feel like. To know what you feel like through every single situation. What if God was one of us? I like that song that he goes on the bus. I catch the bus all the time. But that's why I went through everything that I did, in order to understand what it is that you actually feel. Okay? 390 different kinds of sins recorded in the Dake's Bible from Genesis to Revelation. Every day I read my Bible. I read everything. Satanic Bible, the Buddhist word, and the Muslims, the Quran, you know, everything that I can get my hands on spiritually to enlighten myself. I want to take care of who I am, because I do love me. Because how can I love you until I love me first? That's the same thing. Jesus set the greatest 2 commandments. Love the neighbor as yourself, and love the Lord your God. But if you can't love yourself, how can you love your neighbor? But that's why we have to get in unity with what it is of who we are. You know, even the times that I fasted over 30 days straight, I don't even know how many times. You know, I sat in front of people while they were eating, so that way I could kill the flesh in order to say no to something that is the most desirable. Equal with sex, I would say, is food. So I fasted over 30 days straight, I don't know, 5, 6 times, I can't remember. But the one thing about being able to do all this, not because of my whole past, but I do know Ecclesiastes does say that through a multitude of businesses, a dream can come forth. And my dream is to be able to change the planet in a way that nobody ever had thought of before, by being servant of all. The last of all, servant all, the man of sin, and the son of perdition. But another good point that I want to start getting in touch with concerning is our ability to be able to understand the difference about who we are as people. Because when we think ourselves as man and we think ourselves as woman over here, we tend to put ourselves in categories. But what we have to do is, you know, that whole saying goes to the men. It says, men, get in touch with your feminine side. Well, that's something that I want to talk to you about next. And I'll tell you why they call me the Space Cowboy in a second. Well, I guess I did. I've worked for for McDonnell Douglas. So I'm a Space Cowboy. I'm fulfilling songs, everything I can, in order to try to convince everybody that they all had truth, but it wasn't all the truth. Here's the next level. Not everlasting life, not life eternal, but eternal life, as according to John chapter 17. John chapter 17, verses 1 and 2. See you in a second.